Welcome to Ethan Hahn Plus, the podcast where dreams take center stage. On this show, we're all about spotlighting the incredible talents and passions of everyday people. Whether you're an aspiring artist, a person of faith, or simply someone with a story to tell, this podcast is your platform. So sit back, relax, and get ready to meet some extraordinary individuals. Because here at Ethan Hahn Plus, everyone has a chance to shine. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ethan Hahn Plus, the podcast where you come for fun, love, sadness, the good kind of sadness, drama, just here to have a good conversation with good friends. Because we're in the car with you today. If you're on a commute, we're in the bathtub with you. If you're listening to this in the bathtub, that's a little dangerous, but hopefully you got the right headphones on. What else do you guys do? Leave a comment down below what you do while you listen to this podcast and get real with us. We want to know it all. What are you doing right now? Everyone, we've got a very special episode here. Yes, we do. Again, as you know, I bring in Delaware's best when it comes from all angles of the state. All right, acting, singing. When it comes to people who just who are teachers, I think we've had a teacher on. Yeah, we've had a teacher on, and today we're bringing. It's a perfect time because I'm currently trying to get back on my fitness kick. We have a fitness guru. We have a fitness guru on with us today. A man who is working his way up to train for a marathon, an Ironman, and just for a whole bunch of other things. Everyone, please welcome Josh Hutton. Wow. Wait, huge applause. People are so excited right now. This is the one. How are you, Josh? How are you feeling today?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Woke up, slaughtered a couple cows.
Okay.
Drank a chug jug.
Yeah.
Went back out. hunted some elk with my bare hands after I ran 100 miles.
Yeah. Just an average day for Josh.
Honestly, I didn't even need coffee today. So
you didn't even need that.
No.
I tell people all the time when I wake up in the morning, this is decaf what I'm drinking right now because I don't need caffeine. You know what's my caffeine, Josh?
What?
I wake up and I sniff the air. Life is my caffeine.
Wow.
Yeah. What gets you up in the morning? What motivates you in the morning, huh?
What gets me up in the morning?
Yeah. What's that morning routine like for Josh Hutton?
Actually?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. What's your morning routine like?
Patrick Bateman.
Okay. So I wake up and I pee.
Yeah, as most of us do. Mine might add in a poop in there. Yeah.
My added. I'll use the tongue scraper 7 times.
Okay.
And then I'll brush my teeth.
Impressive. I don't implement the tongue scraper.
That's interesting that you have a specific. I just scrub it till it looks clean. Yeah.
I'm just doing what Brian Johnson tells me to do.
Do you know who Brian Johnson
I
is?
don't know who's Brian Johnson.
Oh, dude. The man.
The man.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so Brian Johnson is this guy who, he's like a, I don't think he's a billionaire, but he's really high, 3-digit millionaire guy.
Okay.
And right now he is spending a lot of money to test how good modern science is.
Shout out to Brian Johnson.
He does a lot of things, and the cool part about it is even though he spends a lot of money, there are things that you can implement that really don't cost a lot of money. So one of them being the tongue scraper.
That's something. Yeah, I mean, I brush thoroughly. I just brush really thoroughly. One thing I want to actually point out before coming on too. I mean, you guys have already heard Kay talking. Josh here. Why? It's a very special episode here. They're siblings. Yeah, we got Josh and Kay here, part of the Hutton clan.
Love you, dude.
And I also know your mom listens to these.
She does.
So I know she's definitely listening to this. So shout out to Maggie Hutton. Hey, we love
Sister
Maggie.
Maggie.
Sister Maggie.
We love you, Mamacita.
I have you. One of you need to remind me. I have your popcorn bucket, Maggie. Sister Maggie. I have your popcorn bucket because your mom makes great coconut popcorn. Is it coconut butter or just coconut flavor?
Coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
With Himalayan pink salt.
Ooh, used from real coconuts. You guys grow it in the back in the Hutton house.
We do grow them.
You guys grow them in the back. Yeah. Okay, going back to it. Morning routine. You scrape the tongue. What's next?
It's got to be 7 times though.
7 times.
Yeah,
Okay.
7 times. Then I'll get back, make my bed,
Okay.
and then I'll do 1,000 push-ups.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, sure.
One-handed.
One-handed.
One hand snap. So I'll push off, snap.
Yeah, we'll do a quick step. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but typically I'll read the Bible.
Yeah.
Which actually, it's funny. One of the questions you asked was, like towards the end, it was like things that you could do, I guess, to improve your life or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that, and honestly, when it comes to priority, I think out of anything that you could do, that's the one that like has the biggest impact on my day personally.
Yeah. No, that's good too. That's something that, I mean, yeah, it'll just kind of keep you close to God and stuff like that. And that's really good. Like, that's a really good practice that's a great way to start the morning too. It's a morning prayer. The times I've fit prayer into my time is just after a workout. Like after every time I run, just kind of, it's like meditation in a way. It's a good meditation, and then it clears the mind and all that stuff too. But I love that. Yeah, a little Bible session in the beginning of the day. Love that. But well, I kind of asked those two your morning routines. Like you're in this phase right now of, again, I kind of mentioned in the intro, training to be an Ironman. I'm curious, what kind of motivated you to start getting fit and stuff like that? Like, where did this journey start for you? And like, why are you on this path right now?
I think I did sports growing up all throughout, like elementary school, middle school, high school, and in high school I did cross country, track, and swimming. So I have the running and swimming background. But one thing that's I thought was pretty interesting is that when you're like a 3-sport athlete, let's just say, for like, so 7 years I was a 3-sport athlete, right? So when I graduated, I went from devoting all this time to these sports and honestly like probably finding my worth in them as well, and then immediately it's just like, okay, like you're not doing that anymore,
Right. Yeah.
So it was funny as well because like all throughout high school, like doing cardio sports, I really wanted to like get big and whatever.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I could not wait until sports were over so I could do that. And the second they're over is like, oh man, like I kind of like hanging out with my friends and running around and whatnot. So I guess there were a couple years where I was lifting and that was fun, but I think for me, I just need a goal, honestly. Like I think staying in shape should be the I guess OG goal, or like that. I'm not saying that's a bad goal, but for me, like I don't get excited to wake up and be like, oh, let me just like stay in good shape.
Yeah.
I really enjoy events, and so let's see. So basically, or even challenges as well.
Yeah, those will always help. Because I mean, I kind of relate to that too. Like when it's funny when we're doing sports in high school, it's like it disciplines us because we have the team and it's fun. But then when you graduate, it's just all gone. It's like, oh, I have to do this myself now, and you don't have that you don't have that cross country meet to practice for now. You don't have a coach like, kind of hovering over you and stuff like that. So it's tough to kind of like build that discipline. And
you lose like all accountability that you had before.
100%.
Yeah.
And you realize just how hard it is to stay in that shape because at least I think after a few years graduating, I kept up with running, but I just wasn't great at it. And then it just all went downhill where I was like, I mean, I'm not in awful shape, but like it was to the point where I'm like, wow, I don't know if I could ever hit sub 20 again. Like, I mean, we all can when it comes to like some like hard work and stuff like that, but it's definitely like a tough battle for sure too. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like, just because life got really busy, or
life got busy? I think for me, like, yeah, life gets busy, and we kind of mentioned beforehand, one thing that's been helping me recently was again, it goes back to the discipline thing of not having someone coding you, keep you accountable. But I downloaded the Strava app, which we talked about beforehand.
Yes, sir.
And it almost feels, and this is a good comment. like you feel there's a competition now.
Oh yeah.
Because
100%.
when I'm on, I'm like, oh, Glenn only did
Oh.
Glenn only did 1.8. Let me do 3 miles today. You know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. We need that drive and motivation to kind of maybe compete with each other. And for so many years, I never really had that, or I wasn't even looking for it either. Like I think I was just like, I'm gonna just run once in a while to stay in shape. But Cam Anguito, shout out to Cam, he just recently came out to me and was like, hey, I'm going to do the 2025 marathon. We should train for it. Goes back to your comment. Having a goal helps kick things started a little bit, which hence, like, the past few weeks, I've been running the most consistent I have in years. Yeah, which is
awesome to
crazy.
hear,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get the camaraderie, and then
Yeah.
you also have, like, it's not really even real, but at least in my mind, there's like a public accountability where it's like if I
Yeah.
like if I do a slow run workout, I'm just like, man, they're all gonna see that.
Yeah, 100%. Like you, it's like you want the bragging rights a little bit too, yeah. Because everyone knows I always post in my Instagram stories like 3 miles today, and I always feel lame if I'm like 3 miles in 35 minutes. That's crazy. But today I was bragging a lot because I just finished a race for the Delaware Running Festival. I did a 5K there, and I hit like 20. This is me in the shape I'm in now. I was really trying, but with a few hills there, I only got it in 26:49. And today I wasn't really like pushing, but I hit around the same time, and I'm like, all right. Like I wonder if I just wasn't feeling it that day, but today I hit like 26:50, and I'm like, and I was feeling good. That was me just doing a casual run. So I'm like, all right, if I push it a little more next time, maybe I'll get a faster time and stuff like that. So it's like it's fascinating, but we're definitely in different points of it. But it's funny that we're kind of on this little fitness track right now and seeing where it can take us. Yeah. But how has so where are you at right now, Ironman training? Like, if you don't mind, like kind of breaking down, like what's the process from the beginning of the Ironman training to where you're at now to where you want it to be by like, is it this year, the Ironman?
It's in September, yeah.
Oh, in September. Yeah. Dang.
Dude, yeah, so to be honest, it's funny. There's this parable, and it's like before a king goes to war, he counts how many whatever he has, or like so it's essentially like before you make a decision, you need to know whether or not like you could do this thing, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, bro, I did not count nothing before I signed up for this Ironman.
Yeah.
It was like, so here's the other thing I would recommend to not do is I did an Olympic triathlon, which is like the second shortest, and the Olympic it's like a 1.5 mile swim, it's a 20 something mile bike ride, and then a 10K, right?
Yeah.
So off of the like race high that I had off that one, I was like, I'm gonna do an Ironman.
Yeah.
Now the thing about an Ironman is it's like quadruple.
Yeah, and that's the only triathlon you've done.
So I did a sprint before that, which is half of the Olympic.
Half of the Olympic, a sprint. So what's the difference there?
So sprint, it's 0.9 mile swim. It is a 10-mile bike ride and then a 5K run.
Wow. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Literally. Okay.
Yeah.
Literally broken in half. Okay.
Yeah. So that one's pretty doable, honestly. Like I think that's a good goal that like you don't have to invest a ton of time or money or really anything to do. I mean, you do have to commit time to it, but like right now I'm committing a lot of time to.
When you did those past ones, what did you struggle with the most, like in the triathlon? Like, was it the biking, the swimming, or the running? What was it for you?
So this is an interesting thing because I've only ever until this point I've only ever ran and swam, right? So the first race I did, I was borrowing my friend's bike, and it was like a hybrid road bike, but not really. And I didn't have clips or anything like that, to clip my feet in.
Sure.
And so swim, I came out, I was feeling decent. I hop on the bike, and I only passed 2 people that entire time. Mind you, there's probably like 500 people doing it. I probably got passed by like 30 people. And the 2 people I passed were these elderly women that were like, like respectfully, they were overweight. Like,
yeah.
And then they passed me back.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, like.
There is nothing more humbling than that in a race. Like even for running, like when you're doing a 5K, like I've seen people, again, not to roast them because people are just in better shape sometimes. I've seen like older folks like in their 80s, like passing me, and I'm like, excuse me, Susan? Like what's going on here?
Stick the foot out real quick.
Yeah, like I'm trying to, what the heck?
Give them the elbow.
Yeah.
But so the hardest one, honestly, like it's funny. So I was like, is this like me? Am I just really that slow at biking, or is it the bike? And I learned it's just 100% the bike. So the interesting thing about like long distance bike riding is it's really the only endurance sport where spending more money will make you faster.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that was hard. And then, I mean, I know like the Olympic I did, I was dying during the run. It was at Lumps Pond, and I was wearing like road racing shoes. And dude, I rolled my ankle so many times back in the roots, and that was really discouraging.
Because spikes probably would have helped. Like, did you wear spikes back in your cross country day or no?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, because I did too. Yeah.
Spikes. Spikes probably would have helped. I don't think I saw anyone, but just like anything other than the shoes I was wearing, they were like a higher platform. So like if you're running where there's roots and you're already like elevated, that ankle, like,
Yeah. I noticed every time there's a trail run, I told this last time I was doing a trail run with my dad, you actually, at least for me, I never get to enjoy the trail because I'm so busy looking down at the roots the whole time. Like there was one time I actually tried, like it felt like looking away from driving because I'm like, if I look away for a second, if I try to appreciate that lake for a second, my ankle's done for.
Gone.
But the whole time you got to look down because all the roots.
Yeah,
100%.
The cool part about trail running though is that, at least in my experience, you like forget that you're running or that you're tired or anything.
Yeah.
The entire time it's just like, don't roll your ankle.
Yeah. Sometimes it helps when your mind's on something else and then you don't even realize how far you've gone. You're like, oh, I already hit like a mile. Nice. And it felt like it was just so quick.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any crazy injuries in the process for training for those ones at least?
Dude. So that's actually like what I'm going through right now.
Really? What happened?
So dude, take your time for the marathon. So so originally my goal, I did the Olympic and then I was gonna do a half marathon, a marathon, and then so that was last year. And then the plan was to do one more marathon like this month in April, and then do the Ironman in September, right? So what I did was I went from like no running to then like 5 weeks later, a 16-mile long run.
Oh, jeez.
And
yeah.
And this is like another thing.
Fun.
I'll say is if you don't feel good, if like I got there, I didn't feel good. I started running, like something felt wrong, and I just kept going, and then I felt like a sharp pain.
Yeah.
And since then, my Achilles is I don't really know what's going on with it. There's probably like tendonitis or tendinosis, maybe, I don't know, but
training and stretching is so important. Like when I hear, and you know what, like when I say this too, like it's fine and dandy when people go for it. Like some people can say, oh, let's do a half marathon, and then they'll just sign up. I feel like not knowing the weight that goes into that, because every time, I mean, our crew would always be like, oh, let's do this. And me being the runner, I'm the most hesitant. Like, we need, like, is everyone ready for that? Like, it's a lot. It goes back to, I mean, not to expose him, he still killed it. Glenn, I believe he signed up for a half marathon recently, and then when he went to it, he was like so like sore afterwards. He couldn't even walk around the city because I asked him, I'm like, what was the most mileage you did before getting to that half marathon? He said, correct me if I'm wrong, Glenn, but I'm pretty sure he said like 4 to 5 miles before doing a half marathon. And I was like, oh wow, like that's wild. That it's just funny that like to some people it's like, oh no, I can just like hop into it. But like if there's any message from there, it's like you gotta train for these races. Why I'm also so hesitant, like people are telling me do the half marathon. The last one I did, which was maybe 3-4 years ago, I cramped up bad because I didn't train well for it, or at least I just went too hard in it, thinking I was still in good shape. I cramped so hard at the. There's a few times I cramped, but then I remember at the finish line, I might have to find the footage or the picture. I like to do poses during my runs. I'm like, when I see the camera, I like do a silly pose. You see me crossing the finish line and I'm trying to do like this flexing pose. And I'm just like, ooh, because I slowed down and I think my legs finally caught up to me. I cramped at the finish line.
They're waiting for you to do that.
I limped across the finish line because I was like, this is the worst cramp I felt my entire life.
At least it didn't happen until you were right there.
Exactly. Like, I guess it could have happened at a worse time, but also they ended it on a hill. I'm like, maybe that was why my body was like, what is going on? Like he didn't train right for this, and now we're ending on a hill. We're gonna cramp at the very top of this hill. It's crazy. But hills is another thing for me recently that I'm like, I need to definitely train on those too. because they're tough. Like another thing people don't realize is running is a beast in itself, but then running on hills and inclines, that's a whole nother ball game. That you got to learn how to do it, run on your toes, but also you got to train. It's a whole nother training regimen in itself. Yeah.
Yeah. You really want to make sure that, especially with races, like you need to be training for what your race day, honestly.
100%. And just like even for 5Ks, like if you're trying to like time yourself on a 5K, like you run those 5Ks, like 3 miles. Like we both did 3 miles today, which is great. Yeah. Mine was 26:55, but yeah. What was yours time?
I don't even.
You don't know? Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice.
Probably like 30.
Gotcha. But so you've also been kind of vlogging your journey too and stuff like that. Like where are you training? I saw you're at a pool when you're doing these vlogs. Like where are you going to do these training sessions and stuff?
So swimming is have you ever heard of D-Fit?
No, I haven't heard that.
So there's 2 like Delaware branded, I guess you call it, gyms. It's called D-Fit.
Okay.
And so there's one in Newcastle and there's one in like Pike Creek area. So that's where I swim. I also swim at the LA Fitness.
Okay.
I prefer not to swim there because their pool is super warm, which is just like,
it's not gonna prep you enough.
well, it's just like, it's nice. It's nice jumping in and you're not cold, right?
Oh.
But once you start going, it's like really uncomfortable. You could literally feel yourself sweating in a pool, which is a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And then biking. So biking is the tough part because biking is super dangerous. Like, you're just praying that whoever is driving behind you at like whatever mile an hour is paying attention to the road, which is like a pretty tall ask.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
because to stretch out these biking things, you gotta go on the road and stuff like that. Would be on the side.
Yeah.
Are you on the opposite side though, where you're facing the cars,
No,
or
no,
oh, you're not? Okay.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, technically you're supposed to be like with the.
Oh, really? Is that a? Oh, dang. Okay.
So like the canal is really great. The canal.
I think I saw that on your Strava. You went like around the bridge area, like under the bridges and stuff. Yeah, I've ran there a few times. Yeah.
That's where I do the most amount of riding, just because, like, really the only thing I need to look out for is people.
Yeah. You should do that Riverfront Battery Park stretch. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah. So
you should do that.
So that's funny that like I just rode there the other day.
Oh, okay.
And it connects to it's called River Road, and so I guess the problem with the biking is like you just go, I don't know, like when you have like a fast bike, like you're going pretty fast. Like I'm averaging on my easier stuff, it's like 15 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour. And the position I'm in, so there's these things, it's called a tri bike, made specifically for triathlons, right?
Okay.
So the way your bars are, your elbows and hands are like planted and you're leaning forward.
Yeah.
And the reason is because you're more aerodynamic.
I think I've seen that.
So in triathlon, you're not allowed to do what's called drafting, which is where, like, have you ever played like Need for Speed or any of those games?
Yeah.
Where you see like the little white and then you get behind them and you get speed and then you like you yo-yo. So like that's legitimately a real thing. Like,
that's crazy.
It actually say like
so, like you'll get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So a couple of the races I did last year, unintentionally, like going up a hill, I'm like grinding up a hill, and then the like ref comes and they're on mopeds and they're like yelling at me and I'm like, I'm going up the hill. Like, I'm not trying to draft them. There's not even wind, but yeah.
And that's crazy in itself. But so when you're also when you did the past 2 events in the water, is it cold? Like what's that like when you're swimming?
So the first.
What's funny is I couldn't even do that because I don't even know how to swim, which sucks. But that's why I'm like, hopefully one day I'll learn to swim. But I want to know what the experience is like hearing from your point of view. Like, what is that like?
Okay, so the first race I did, it was wet. Like you're allowed to wear wetsuits, and it was cold enough where if you weren't wearing a wetsuit, you would actually be cold. The second one, I think it's like USA Triathlon League or whatever. That's where all the races are sanctioned by. I want to say it's maybe like 70 degrees above. You're not allowed to wear wetsuits. So you're actually faster in a wetsuit. Like you have more buoyancy, which is better if you're like a weaker swimmer. The one thing is like, that's weird, especially if you train only in a pool and then you go out there, is so you have buoys and that's how you know where to go, right? Except like when you're swimming, you breathe on your side. And the only way to follow the buoy is to look like up directly. And then it's also weird because there's no lanes. So like you're getting smacked in the head by people.
Just because you guys are in a clump. It's basically
you're
like
in
when
a
a 5K starts, you guys just all in a
yeah.
clump together and stuff like that.
And there's no like, it just is what it like. If you hit someone, it is what it is. If you kick,
You got to
someone,
keep going.
Like you just gotta keep going.
Is there a moment you want to take a break while you're swimming, and do you can't though because you're just gonna be treading while you're.
I mean, yeah, you would be treading. I mean, that like.
Did you ever get to that point? You just kept moving. You were the type to just I'm gonna keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a slow grind where.
Yeah.
So typically, a lot of people breathe on like 3, meaning like you take 3 strokes, you breathe, which means you alternate which side you're breathing on. So like when I would get really tired, I would just breathe on 2s, which is like if you're not training to swim efficiently that way, then you're not like it's just like you're slapping water and going slow.
Yeah.
But
is there officials on the side like just in case?
So there are people on paddle boards that are like all throughout the swim course because so actually that's like the most dangerous part, and that's why they put the swim first because like but biking you could get really hurt, but like swimming it's like you're letting a whole bunch of people that you really don't know if can swim well like hop in water. So I'm pretty sure actually at one of the Lumps Ponds 2 years ago someone like had a heart attack in the water, which it didn't like I think it didn't have anything to actually do with them like drowning. It was just like
they just timing.
Poor timing.
Poor timing. Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. And so when it comes to the Ironman, which will be again September, how long is each thing again?
So it's a 2.4 mile swim.
Yeah.
It's a 112 mile bike ride. And then it's a marathon.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's the most mileage you've done recently, like running wise?
Dude, so back to the Achilles. So basically that happened in October when I injured it, and then I kind of like took off from running.
Yeah.
And every single time I would go back to running, like I would still feel it.
Yeah.
So I started training like 4 weeks ago, and I trained for 2 weeks, and my Achilles was like really flaring up. So right now I'm like just getting back to running.
Yeah.
And that's like.
And it's feeling all right?
I mean, so I ran on grass today.
Yeah.
That's like. That will be what, I don't know, like if anything was to stop me, that would be it. Probably.
Yeah, it's going to be that. What kind of shoes you using when you run? You use Hoka's? I used running Nike Pegasus shoes.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
You're
just wearing whatever.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if you're ever in Orlando, the Nike clearance store, it's literally called the Nike clearance store. I was like, is this like Nike? It is. And so you could get like, I don't know, I just got whatever Nike running shoes for like $60 off.
Yeah.
That's what I've
just been rocking with those. Yeah. If it works, it works. Yeah. Well, hopefully that heals up. Yeah. Before you do that, because that's a marathon and more in September.
I mean, so that's the thing. Like you got to really respect the event.
Yeah.
And
you have to pay to get it, like qualify, right? You have to like qualify.
You just have to pay.
Okay. You just got to pay. Yeah.
Or what you could do, I'm doing. So I'm actually raising money.
That's right. I saw that. Yeah. We can put that up here too.
Yeah,
like
man.
we can link it down below.
Please.
So people,
I need the support.
It's people to help you guys pay for the Ironman.
So essentially, Ironman has a nonprofit called Ironman Foundation.
Okay.
And they raise money. It kind of goes a lot of places. So one of the things it goes to is it will support athletes of that community. So the race I'm doing, it's in Cambridge, Maryland, which is like middle of nowhere, Bay, Maryland.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it or been to other than just because of the race I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it'll support that. It'll support their local fire companies, and then it'll also support this one other nonprofit that they give healthy food to like kids over the weekend that don't have access to that. So
nice. Well, yeah, there we go. We can link that down below. Maybe we'll clip this out.
Yeah,
support
please.
Josh right here and support all those organizations too. That's gonna be a super cool thing. But yeah, that's gonna be cool, man. And then you'll have that coming up. So a lot of fitness journey. So in this kind of fitness kick you're on, like what would you kind of tell people that wanna maybe do the same thing you're doing? Like, is there any type of motivation you would give to like how would someone get started, or how do you like what keeps you motivated the whole time, like while you're on this journey?
So right now, a couple things. So it's funny because back to Strava. It's all Strava.
It's all Strava.
Yeah, I just want to impress the boys.
Yeah.
No, but like with me recording the workouts, I mean, so this is my 4th week of training, right? So I haven't hasn't been like months and months. I haven't really hit like a lack of motivation yet.
Yeah.
Just because I know, like, I don't know, it's like I have this accountability in a way, not really.
Are you training with anybody, or is this you doing your thing, maybe once in a while work out with someone type thing?
Yeah, I'll work out with people. The main thing with that though is like I have very specific workouts, and it's like people are welcome to come, but like I'm not gonna go harder or less hard than I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
So I guess motivation, like really just accountability with telling people is another great way to like have motivation, just because you feel really guilty if you don't do what you said you were gonna do.
Yeah. Accountability. Yeah, that's just gonna be earlier. Like, yeah, definitely the biggest thing. Yeah, kind of to keep people going. That's gonna be cool. That'll be exciting. Can people come watch your Ironman?
Yeah.
Like, can the crew come?
People can come watch.
Check you out.
I mean, it's like probably the worst spectator sport you could ever watch, because
Sure,
it's
yeah.
like a 12
Where's he
hour
at now?
event.
Yeah.
It's like a 12-hour event. You'll probably see me like 3 times over the entire day. But it is cool to watch. So I volunteered at the one last year, and it was funny because so I was like volunteering at a bike station, which was like 30 miles away from the finish, because the bike's so long, and it was really cool. So I was there all day, and then I went to the race, and I got there, and the finish line, like I just wanted to cry, because I could just see people like crossing the finish line, and it's like I know that dude like just committed the past year and a half to this, and like he had to make so many sacrifices, and look at him now.
Yeah, they just finished. Yeah. My dad, remember, he cried after finishing his first marathon in Chicago, and I was like, man, no, like that's when it hit me, like, no, this is important. I was like, no, this is a big deal. Like because I remember the amount of training he did, which was insane, and again, like kudos to the Ironman, because a marathon itself is already a beast, but to add more to that, I can't even imagine how the legs will feel too.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
With all this too, what's your diet like? I was gonna ask that too. Like, what do you change your diet crazy at all, or like, are you just eating whatever? Like, what's that? Are you fasting, or is there a specific thing you can only eat?
That's a good question. So that's the other thing that I'm like, I know I'm not doing a good job of, to be honest. Like,
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's crazy because diet is like going to be always like one of the biggest factors when it comes to fitness at all. And that's what I've realized recently too. Yeah.
So, I mean, right now I'm just trying to eat healthy and eat as much food as possible, just because like you're burning a lot of calories. So in order to be fueled to do that, you need to eat a lot. So right now it's been a lot of kava and Chipotle.
Nice.
And I'm trying. I really like need to start meal prepping.
It's hard too, man. Have you ever done it before, or like?
Yeah, like when I was really big into lifting, I did it. But it's
hard. Like it's because it goes back. It's more discipline. You got to discipline yourself. And this is a me thing. I always got like, I think I tried it one time and I just completely like it just fell apart. But I just feel like I just get picky because I'm like, oh, this food's cold now. By the time it hits like later in the week, I'm like, I'm over this. I don't want to eat this anymore.
You already ate it 3 times.
Yeah, it's like I'm over this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So diet, because I realized diet how important it is, because I've been doing great with running, but I'm like not seeing the results I want, I guess, when I step on the scale, and I'm like realizing, well, it's because I'm eating like garbage, and I'm like, I got to change that. So one thing I'm at least trying right now is start eating at 12, stop eating it by 8, and then cut out all sweets overall. Like I told myself, because I have a sweet tooth, to just keep me from going crazy, I will have a little bit of Fairlife chocolate milk.
Nice.
Just that specifically, but no, nothing too crazy there. Like that's just kind of where it's at there. Yeah. But that's going to be super exciting with your fitness journey there. But another thing I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit, like we'll just transition into faith stuff. You're a leader at Good Shepherd Baptist Church.
Leader.
Yeah. You're for the youth kids.
Yeah.
You're youth kids. What is that like? I'm curious. What's that experience been like for you? Like what kind of made you want to step up there a little bit?
It's funny, like with the whole graduating high school thing and like finding my identity in sports and like I guess some kind of academics and like all those things. I just found myself like after that chasing a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, nothing really satisfied me. And I'm really blessed to have like, it's kind of crazy that like for the most part, I did get a lot of the things that I wanted, which was a blessing. And the fact that when I got it, I was like, oh, like this is not what I thought it was going to feel like. Like, why do I still want more?
Mm-hmm.
On paper, like I just had a really good month for like work. And I just remember that was like the most depressed I was like ever. Like I don't know, it's kind of like literally I was like wasn't even getting out of bed. Like I had no desire to get out of bed. And my mom was like, "Oh, do you want to help out at Vacation Bible School?" And I was like, "Well, I've just been laying in bed for like past couple days." Yeah, sure.
And this is before you guys got to Delaware, right?
No.
Or
So
was
this is like been in Delaware for like a year and a half, maybe. I guess
because we did meet you guys during COVID times, didn't we? A little bit.
maybe you met Kay or my parents, but
Okay.
But I mean, like I guess for more context, like I grew up in the church, and the rule at my house was I had to go to church until I was 18. So once I turned 18, I just stopped going to church.
Oh wow. Okay. And so, that's interesting because so would you say like while you were young, before 18, before hitting 18, did you have a relationship with God, like a genuine one, or did it just feel like task, like to you?
I don't really like.
Because I'm just curious, and let me know if it's
Yeah.
what made you stop going at 18. Like just because it was like they were telling me to go before, now I don't want to go, or yeah,
I'd say that was part of it.
Yeah.
Just like the rebellious nature of me, and I think another part was just the things that I was doing were like I guess would be highly frowned upon by like the church community, or like so I felt guilt because of that, and like I was just like, okay, well, I can't like live this double life, so like I gotta get rid of one thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she was like in 2020, your mom kind of was like, "Hey, Vacation Bible School," and you decided to try that out, and that was you'd say that's kind of you getting back into it a little bit.
Yeah. So I had like this personal development phase where I was like reading all these books and whatnot, and this one guy, Robert Kiyosaki, at the end of his book, he was like, and it was the book he wrote was about making money, and he at the end he said, "You can make all the money you want, but unless you have these 4 things down, then your life will be like lopsided." And I think the 4 things, it was like finances, emotions, like mental, I don't like something mental, and then spirituality. So kind of like what he also advised with that is you got to be doing something in order to develop that area. And at the time, I knew the one thing that I was not doing was that. So I kind of figured it was like, I at that point I was like going to church here and there, just solely because it was like, okay, well, I gotta check off the spirituality box. So anyway, so I went to that like VBS prep, and it was so random because I'm there for like 10 minutes, and Crystal walks up to me and she's like, "Oh, can I talk to you real quick?" And she pulled me aside in one of the rooms, and she's like, "Oh, so we need a game like leader or whatever. Can you do it?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Man, like I'm just here to like check the box, like."
Yeah.
And I felt like I should say yes. Just I don't know why, but I said yes, and it was cool. The first like 3 days, I was trying really hard to make it fun.
This was the monumental one, or
Yes.
Oh, okay, this was the monumental. Okay.
Yeah. This is the monumental one. So then I on the 3rd night, someone was just like, like, remember why we're here, guys. Like, we're not here to make it the most fun experience or like whatever, have like the best scenery, or we're here to, well, I don't, do you remember what the theme like I know, was it Shine
Oh,
Jesus Light? That was the
Shine Jesus Light. I just remember Awesome God. You know, them kept
Okay.
saying Awesome God.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the
Yeah.
main thing. There was like a statement thing,
I
though.
think it was Awesome God.
Was it Awesome God? Awesome God.
Yeah.
I remember Caleb kept
He
doing that. Yeah,
reigns
yeah. But
forever.
Shane, Shine God's Light or something like that. Yeah, because there was like
Yeah.
the whole light bulb thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, they're like, remember why we're here? We're here to present Christ to these children and hopefully like plant that seed in their heart. And then I remember leaving and I'm like, man, that's like not what I'm doing at all. I'm just trying to have let these kids have a fun time. So then, like that morning I was like actually reading like the lesson that I was supposed to be like teaching these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then, those 2 days I just felt really fulfilled, honestly. And then I felt like I should continue serving in that area. But I didn't do anything about it. And then randomly, like 3 months later, it's a Saturday night. It's like 9:00 at night, and I'm really bored. And there's this one gym that I saw people posting on Instagram, and it was like really aesthetic and whatnot. So I was like, oh, let me go here. So I go there, and it was funny as well because it was like because it was that late, they're open 24 hours. There wasn't anyone at the desk. So I was like, I like clicked the Ring doorbell and I'm like Venmoing this girl through like the Ring thing in order to pay for my night pass, I guess. I mean, so then I walk in and I do like one set of like bench maybe, and then Glenn walks in.
Yeah.
And then it was crazy, like that. I just happened to be there. Glenn happened to like go there as well.
Yeah,
he wasn't necessarily like attending that gym frequently.
Yeah.
So we ended up working out, and then we ended up getting food. And while we were getting food, he was talking about just like some things he was stressed about. And this was around the time that Glenn was like assuming the role of, I'm not entirely sure what roles he had at that point, but he was just assuming more roles. And then I was like, oh, bro, I'll help you. So then that's how I got into it.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's God's sign in a way. It was God working pretty much. Yeah. We shouted out Glenn a lot, by the way. Glenn, I've asked you before, but we're gonna have to get him on because he's gonna be a lot of knowledge to have on there too. But that's cool. Because I feel like again, those experiences, they're not just coincidence. Like things happen for a reason, and it kind of set you on that path. And yeah, like everything does happen for a reason too. Like that's cool that it was able to kind of like strengthen your faith a little bit. Like would you say from then on, like you've been like very strong in your faith since then? Like have you created like a route, I mean, you say you wake up in the morning, read the Bible. Like have you been pretty strong with that now? Like creating a faith routine during your daily, like weekly like schedule and stuff like that?
At this point, yeah. I'd say like then it was a very gradual. Like there were a lot of things that it just wasn't an overnight thing, honestly.
Yeah. No. And yeah, it's never is. Like it's going to be definitely a long journey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just blessed in the fact that like a lot of things that I do now, I just learned randomly throughout the process. Like one thing that was really cool was, we went on one of the youth camps this summer. And I got invited to this other church's like young adult thing. And I remember going there and everyone had their Bible, like physical Bible. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And we broke it out in small groups, and these dudes, like, not that this is what it's all about, not even close, but these guys, like, that were my age and girls knew the Bible, like really well. It was crazy. Like, literally only speaking in scripture, and I was like, dang. So,
yeah.
I'd say that, like...
It makes you feel, because I've been in that position too, it makes you feel a little bit like, man, there's so much. I mean, here's the thing, though. Those people still have so much to learn, too, which is what I figured out. Because I saw a lot of people who are our age, you know, I agree, like young adults that were speaking scripture and like new things out of the Bible. And I'm like, it's going to take me a long time. But when you start to get to know them and know that everyone's journey is different, it's like, oh, snap. No, like we're all still learning. Like also what someone is saying, I don't even have to necessarily agree with. Like that's what they took away from this verse. That's what they took away from what this said in the Bible too.
They could be taken out of context too. Like, like it's funny. I'd say my relationship with God when I was a kid was like, when I was running a race, I would be like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like that was the extent.
When I needed him.
I was like, come on, God, I can win this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so there have been since then there have been like a lot of things. Like it's funny. So that launched me into like a mode of trying to learn a lot,
Mm-hmm.
which then I learned like, oh wait a minute, I'm I'm pursuing this knowledge for like not the right reasons. Honestly,
Mm.
is like okay. So I mean, it's good that I'm spending time in the Word, right? But like how just because you're spending time in the Word doesn't mean you have a good relationship with God,
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
which is like kind of crazy to think about because it's like, oh, it's the Bible, you know what I mean? But like that is not like your relationship with God comes first, or at least for me it comes first,
Mm-hmm.
which does include like reading the scripture frequently and as much as I can. But if reading the scripture and learning more about it is like the goal, then that's like not what's going to build my relationship with God
Mm-hmm.
for like the sake of like knowledge or like impressing people or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's what's wild is in the past few years I've been going to GSBC. It's literally a relationship, and you can't explain it to people. Like some people who just at least don't understand it is because people are always like, oh, it's like you can't see them, all this stuff, but it's just that feeling of like again faith. Like this is where the faith comes in, and I feel like the Bible is where once you've established the relationship with God and you're in a good place with Him. But again, nobody's perfect. Like again, at the end of the day, like we all have our issues and sin and stuff like that. But I think it's good like once you've established a relationship, like to go to the Bible. Like for me personally, why, and people can disagree, why I like to read about the Bible is more like I've always been curious about the world and like why we function as humans or why things are the way they are. And when I've looked into the Bible for a few things, I'm just like I remember before being Christian, I'm like, what is the answer for everything? Like what is this? And then that's when I realized I'm like, oh, it's in the Bible. Like we just got to figure out like how to read it and stuff like that and how to like interpret certain things. And I by no means have like put a dent in it. I'm not gonna say like, oh, I've read so many pages and I figured this out. But in the times I had read it with JC and in the live group, like I walk away from those conversations being like, oh wow, like that kind of answered this question for me, that answered this about this stuff for me. And yeah, it's just crazy. And also, I mean, also reading it makes you realize why we need to split into small groups and talk to other people about it, because these books and like, I mean, we just finished Romans. It's a lot, and like you can't just read it and be like, I get it now. Like you actually can't.
Wait, you can't?
Yeah, like I really like, because I remember telling JC, I'm like, why can't I just read it? Like I'll just read it from front to back. She's like, no, because after you read something, you got to figure out what was that about. A little bit, and like talk about it with people to see if like let's say if you're on the right track with them, or if you guys disagree, why do you guys disagree with it? That's why I think conversations are really important. That stuff that
100%.
It's crazy, but the Bible is a whole thing. But yeah, man, this has been a fun time. One thing I want to say is too, like, I mean, you were no stranger. You did a good job. You're no stranger to podcasts. You guys kind of had your own. Not too long ago, Not a Genius podcast. So shout out to them, because we kind of want to mention that because you guys have past episodes.
We do, yeah.
That people can go to for some value there, because it was kind of running around like real estate and stuff like that. So it's kind of a competitor to Stay Paid podcast, the one that I produce. So pick and choose whichever one you want to listen to. Their past episodes or ours. But yeah, no, this was a good time. Anything you want to, get off your chest? Any questions you got that you wanted to mention on the podcast? Yeah.
So it was funny coming into this. I was a little bit anxious because the podcast. Okay, do you know how many episodes we've done?
I believe close to 40.
Dang. So out of those 40. There was only one where I talked about myself. I mean, there were like moments where I did, but like there's one episode devoted to myself. And so I'm not used to like talking about myself in a podcast form. And I could not figure out when this happened, but at some point in my life, probably within the past 5 years, I realized that I was the guy that always just talked about himself.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been with my dad. Like whenever I'm with my dad, for whatever reason, well, I think I know the reason. I just talk about myself all the time.
I can relate, yeah.
And
Talking to the right guy.
and like one thing I realized is, so one reason for that is my dad is like a more submissive I guess, conversationalist, if that's what you want to call it. Like he feels not that maybe he does feel less inclined to share what he thinks, but he's willing to let other people do it instead of just him getting that gratification, right? Whereas my mom, her and I clash a lot more because we're both like, we want to say what we have to say. So I was curious, like, what does that dynamic look like for you and your parents?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. So again, so kind of go back to, like you said, like how I guess how we are just socially, like as conversationalists and like.
Yeah. Like when you talk to your dad, is it like similar to where you're just like talking and he's just listening the whole time? And then I don't know, like with my mom, I clash with her just because we both.
No. So this is a funny question. So when it comes to both my parents, I get this energy that I have definitely from my dad. So what I tell people, okay, this is going to be a little small tangent. What I tell people is I have the good side of both my parents. So my dad is very outgoing, but he has a short temper.
Okay.
I got the outgoing from him. My mom, she can be shy sometimes. She can have her moments when she can be fun and like outgoing, but she's very shy at times, but she's also very patient. I like to tell people at least, and someone can comment down below like, no, Ethan, you're a jerk. But I have my temper, like I have a pretty long temper. Like I don't get mad easily. And also, yeah, I'd like to say, well, what did I say about mom? She's kind. Yeah. Right.
Patient.
Yeah. Patient. Yeah. Patient. So like when it comes to the patience, I get that from her. So, when it comes to that, like the dynamic, my mom is the type to like, she'll listen to me talk it out. Like, I can look to my mom when I need someone who's emotionally available, pretty much. Like if there's like an issue, like she'll talk to me and I'm comfortable talking to her about it. Not to say like I can be comfortable with dad, but I know if me and him talk about it, like he'll have just some witty joke or something like that with it, or like he'll and not making fun of me. That's his way of just trying to make the situation like better. He'll make a joke about it. Or just not be fully understanding of what the situation is. Like a good example is like it's no secret, I have anxiety. Like I'll get panic attacks here and there, and I know mom. I mean, it makes sense. She gets them too. So whenever I have them, I explain it to her, and she's like, "Yeah, it's okay." She'll know how to talk me down and stuff like that. But when I tell dad what's going on, he's like, "You're fine, you're fine." Like it's just like he's just like. Because to him, he's never felt that. He doesn't get it. Yeah. But he's just like, to him, it's like, what is that? Like, what are you doing type thing? And he's seen my mom, he'll do his best to try to comfort us. But luckily, we both never had a panic attack at the same time. That'd be wild. But yeah. So to answer it a little bit, me and dad, when we talk, it is kind of like you and your mom trying to get a thing in there. Because we're both very high energy. But with my mom, I can talk to her. And like she'll talk to me, like we'll both listen to each other really nice. But my dad does have his moments. I'll give him some credit where if he sees the situation is very serious, he'll hear me out and then I'll hear him out. But all that stuff too. Yeah. But that's how it goes in this house. Dad has the temper. I don't know if one of your parents has like a temper, but my dad gets angry. Like he almost what's the word? He's almost proud of it, which is weird. Really? Like he when he's on the road, like he'll claim that like he's like. It's him being brave, and I'm like, no, you're showing road rage. You're just showing road rage, Dad. You're just being angry about something that's so silly. Because my philosophy is like, if someone makes me upset or something like that, like I'm not trying to stoop down to that level. Like I'm just trying to I'll blow it off and stuff like that. And some people could say like, oh, like I mean, you're just kind of like being a wimp about it and stuff like that. But I don't know. I like to keep peace. That's my thing. I think I got that from my mom, which is I'm very happy about. But for the people who have seen it, when I do get angry, some people have said like, no, that was your dad. So I think I can hit the same point as dad. The fuse is just longer. Okay. So which is good. And JC was like, I hope I never see that. She's never had to see that side of me because I hate getting mad. I hate getting angry. So I hope to never, I hope to just never do that with anyone. But when I have gotten mad, people are like, that was your dad. I was like, ooh, okay.
What gets you that angry?
That's a good question. I would say what gets me angry, I feel like, is if there's something that's really out of my control and someone is like, no, like it needs, like something needs to happen. That, and if I'm being honest, like this is just the first thing that popped in my head. But just when people are being annoying or getting really physical with me, like if someone's getting physical with me and it's clearly something I don't want, like I'll get pretty mad. Like I think I've had my cousins in the past or a few friends in the past who tried getting physical or I hate being manhandled, like being like held in certain positions. And I know it sounds wild, but like I guess when I'm
So like big spoon or a little?
I hate being little spoon. I hate being little spoon. Yeah,
Really?
I gotta be the big spoon, man.
Dude, I'm a little spoon.
You're a
kinda
little spoon guy.
Yeah.
But no, just like stuff like that. If I'm out of JC always puts it this way. She's like, I realize if you don't have control of a situation, you either panic or get really mad. And I think that's what it is. Like I need to be in control of a situation. I need to know I'm okay here. Because if I don't feel that, it's gonna one of the two ways. I'm either gonna get like really flustered, have a panic attack, or get really mad about the situation. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, that's angry Ethan there for you. Do you guys have short tempers or no? Does that run in the family? No, right?
I think growing up, I definitely had the biggest temper out of any of us.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, man, it's funny that I'm learning how to play drums now. Because
Oh yeah.
So when I was I don't know, maybe like 6 years old, my parents. So my aunt bought me a drum set. I think it was Aunt Sally, right? Maybe, I don't know.
One of our relatives.
Yeah, one of our relatives bought me a drum set, and I probably only had this thing for like a couple of weeks, if that. And my parents were going on a date, and I was so upset that they were going on a date. Like I was I was not upset. I was raging that they were going on a date.
Why? Do you remember why? Or
I have no idea.
My parents are happy?
I have no idea. So what I did, as they were walking out the door, I ran over to the drum set. I took a drumstick and I just stabbed the drum.
No, you didn't.
I did, yeah.
Were you there when he did that?
I saw the aftermath. I don't think I saw the that drum set got messed up.
Yeah. Mom and Dad are going to freaking old country buffet.
Yeah, like the drum set, like the what is the top of the drum called? What is that part?
The tom, or the
the white part of it.
I don't even know.
Whatever it is, it's called. So it was white, but because it, like before he would play aggressively, so it made it black or gray or something like that. So these drum sets, they used to be white. Yeah. It was just covered in all of these black smears from smashing the drum set and holes from the drumsticks.
So you stabbed it as they were leaving for dinner?
Yeah.
Do you remember what they did? They were like, Josh!
I think they just walked out.
They talked about it later. They're like, oh gosh.
Yeah. No, but Kay and I used to really aggressively fight each other.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Am I accessing any trauma here?
No.
Would it be silly things, silly sibling things? You guys would just fight over?
If you call throwing a brick at my head silly.
What was that? What's the context there? You were bored?
Are you talking about the airsoft or?
No, that's a different. You could tell that story.
Oh my goodness.
But the airsoft thing was my bad. But But so Josh and I were literally just in the backyard. And so when he was a little kid, little kids sometimes they're just they're really snotty. They have mucus coming out of their nose.
Josh was that kid?
So it wasn't specifically him. He was just at that age.
Yeah.
Where there was just mucus sometimes coming out of his nose. and so he and I are playing around in the backyard, and he, no fault of my own, trips and falls, lands face first into the dirt. He gets up.
Grass sticking to the snot.
It's there's dirt in the snot. Ooh. I look at him and I start dying laughing because it's just hilarious seeing the dirt in the snot. And so he's angry that I am laughing at him. So he picks up the nearest thing, which happened to be a brick,
that's hilarious,
and chucked it at my head. Yeah.
Did that leave a mark or anything?
No. I don't remember it.
We woke up in the hospital.
I was fine.
Yeah. Well, good to know. Josh was the hothead. He was the hothead.
But the airsoft story.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we had airsoft guns, which is a great thing to give.
I hated that, by the way. I had friends that like played airsoft, and like I'm like, why is this fun? Because my friend group, like, there was no, and if they didn't listen to this, they'll remember. I feel like there was no easy transition. We went from like video games and like just goofing off, making funny videos to lacrosse and airsoft. And I remember this one day they were just like shooting, like my legs were bruised up. I'm like, guys, I don't think we're supposed to play with it like these. But anyway, I'm excited to hear this story because I hate airsoft.
Oh no, I loved airsoft, but so we had a smaller backyard, and did you had the shotgun, right?
Yeah, I had the shotgun.
Yeah,
because
What does that do?
you specifically, like, he actually would purchase airsoft stuff. So you were decked out with like pistols and stuff. So like the shotgun or the rifle was like the one gun that like was just like gifted to us. So like that was like anyone's. And so because I didn't own any airsoft weapons of my own, that's what I had. So yeah.
So we're sitting there, long day of battle. Me versus Kay.
Did the shot? By the way, not to cut in again. Did the shotgun shoot like 6 pellets at a time?
No, it was a rifle. It was a rifle.
Okay. I was about to say. I was
yeah,
like,
it's
shotgun airsoft.
It was just like a pump.
Yeah. Okay.
So long day. We're in a stalemate. So basically, I'm behind like a plastic table, and Kay was behind maybe a tree, and not a whole lot was happening on either of our sides. so Kay made the hero move to sprint at me and go around the table and just shoot me like continually, pump shoot, pump shoot, pump shoot, pump shoot, pump shoot.
Because you were just over it, probably.
Pump,
You're like,
shoot.
I need a
And he just didn't stop. He didn't stop, Ethan.
Because you actually saw. So you were just being mauled. You were being mauled.
I was just sitting there getting wrecked, right? So I did what any man would do in that situation. I jumped up, I looked for some rocks, and I started throwing them as hard as I could, aiming for his head.
Wait a minute, I don't remember this either.
That's just a common. That was just a common thing with you growing up, throwing rocks at Kay's head. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey man, when you're the littler of the two, sometimes
when you're the little spoon,
you gotta use the resources to your advantage.
You're right, as any man would. Just start throwing whatever's in the nearest vicinity. Just start throwing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's airsoft. That's typical boys being boys. Yeah, love that.
We had a trench in the backyard.
We did have a trench.
We dug a trench, which is weird because like I was in a conversation with somebody recently. And they were just talking about their childhood and how they like dug a hole in their backyard and they got like the yelling of a lifetime from their parents, and it was like, wow, really? Like that's was that ever a thing for you? Like could you just like dig a hole in your backyard?
Ethan was a big digging.
No. There was one. No. There was one time I think I tried to. This is funny.
Dig the China.
I did believe that when I was a kid. I was like, oh, I can dig the China. No, I was watching Zoe 101, and they made a time capsule and put it in the ground, and I was like, I want to do that. I got a box and I put things in it, and I barely made a dent in this hole until my dad came out, and he was like, what are you doing? I was like, a time capsule.
Do you remember what was in the capsule?
I wish I could tell you. But you know what's funny now I'm thinking about? I think I was trying to do it in the front yard too. It wasn't even the backyard. I think I had options, and I was like, let me try the front. And I remember they were just like, why are you digging a hole? And I barely made a dent. Like I think I did like 2 or 3 scoops, and they were like, well, stop. I was like, I'm gonna bury this and pull it out in like 20 years. And then the moment I said it out loud, I'm like, okay, this is dumb, huh? And I thought it would be a cool idea, but that's my digging hole story. Yeah, I also wasn't a big outdoorsy kid, if I'm being honest. I hate bugs, and being outdoors, like, I mean, yeah, it just wasn't a thing. Maybe that's an only child thing. I just didn't have anyone to play with. Like my parents just like, I just played inside all day, played with my toys because I was just by myself playing Pokemon all day. But I never was like outside. And when I was outside with my cousins or with other kids, I felt out of my element. Like, they had like, my friend would have me like go through the woods with him, and I'm just like, dude, we can't be here, Mark. We can't be here. He's like, no, it's okay. And then there was this whole like adventure we went on, because it was me, him, and these 2 twin girls that were in our neighborhood. We went into the woods, and we like saw this spray can in the middle of the woods, and we just touched it because we were like, oh, is it working? We left the woods, and we like spooked ourselves out while we were playing like GameCube at its house. One of the girls was like, what if like the cops like find that spray paint can and our fingerprints are on it? And then we're all like, huh? And then we're all like, wait, what if she's right? So we had to go back out there with a napkin and we wiped the spray can. And then my buddy was like, we're good. We're all like, we're good. We were just that scared. Like who can give a crap about, a spray can in the middle of the woods? But that was another thing. It wasn't an outdoorsy kid. Yeah. Did you guys do forest adventures?
Well, yeah, we're kind of like encouraged to like
go
do
out.
That stuff. I was curious about like the shovel and stuff because like we had like my dad or family bought like, especially for Josh, like tools for him or me to use. So like we had like our own, like if we wanted to dig a hole, it's just like you can't yell at us for digging a hole because you bought us a shovel. You got us a shovel.
Yeah.
But Josh had a lot of like tools because he wanted to be
child labor, man.
Child labor. They put you guys to work. Nice. I think I had to steal a shovel that was never used in our shed. Like it was just never used, and I think that's why they saw the shed door was open, and I was just running around acting a fool, like an only child would. Like go back inside. I think that was also discouraged me. Like I shouldn't dig holes. Like I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, no. I'll make it to China one day. But yeah, good times. Well, okay, everyone. That was Josh. Do you have a middle name?
No.
Oh. Do you have a middle name?
He has a middle name, yeah.
Oh, you don't want to, is it Bartholomew or something? I always joke around with people. I always give people like a middle name.
Dude, just wait. I bet there's a viewer out here that's like, damn, he said it.
Yeah,
he said it.
Joshua Hutton.
Joshua James Hutton.
Joshua James. Okay, that's a cool. Okay, I was expecting something more like revealing and embarrassing. Joshua James Hutton was on JJH. He was on the show with us today, and you got to know him a little bit, and you'll get to know him more next time he's on. Hopefully, you feel a little more motivated to go about your day. Hopefully you listen to this while you're in the bathtub. This is a long episode, so maybe you're all wrinkled up.
Yeah.
Because of you're getting pruny. You better get out of that bathtub, pal. Or gal. Whichever. I don't want to study any images. Sorry about that.
That water's not clean anymore.
That water's not clean anymore. Sell it on eBay.
It's probably getting cold.
Yeah. It's getting cold.
Unlike the LA Fitness pool.
Unlike the LA Fitness pool. Like you talked about that there. Exactly. So also if you're in the car, hopefully you finished your commute. Like hopefully you don't need to listen to another episode of this podcast. This is episode 68. I think it's 68. I believe it's 68 because I think Frankie was 67. So wait, that's fun. Our next one might be 60.
Oh no, this is 67.
This is 67.
67.
Okay, so our next one with Mrs. Delaware is 68. That's great. And then we need to find a good 69 episode. Fantastic.
Mrs. Delaware?
Mrs. Delaware is going to be coming on. How fun. Yeah, so the way that's connected, this will be a great promo for it. Next week, everybody, JC's boss is a really successful lawyer in Dover, and she's also does pageants.
Oh, wow.
And she just won Mrs. Delaware.
Oh my goodness.
And she should be set to go
Wait,
off.
is she going to be sitting in this seat?
Yeah, she'll be sitting right there. She's going to have the crown, the sash, and everything. She's going to come. I asked JC, I'm like, is she coming in the outfit? She's like, yeah. I was like, cool. So we're going to have I might wear a blazer that day. I mean, need to be a little fancy for that one. But yeah, we're making good progress on this show. Yeah, we're slowly getting there. We have the successful Josh Hutton and now Mrs. Delaware coming up next. What a mixture of guests, everybody. What a mixture of guests. But everyone, thank you again for watching. Josh, anything before we head out? Anything you want to promote? I know I feel like I asked a question, but anything you want to promote? I mean, I know we talked about the fundraising thing. We'll leave the link down below. If anyone wants to support you, they can support you and those organizations if they donate to the GoFundMe. But I know you have that going on. Anything else you want to put out there for the world before we head out?
I mean, if anyone wants to watch the journey, I'm vlogging it, so they can watch it there.
We'll link his channel down below. Yeah. It's just Josh Hutton, right? Just Josh Hutton, his name. And then he has a profile picture, like
by his request.
By his request, which is great. Yeah, it's a great profile picture. Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, well, hey, that was great, wasn't it, everyone? Thanks again for watching. Listen, you can find this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. The video will be on YouTube, and the video is also on Spotify, so go ahead and check that out. Tell your friends about this show. You can find clips on TikTok at Ethan Hahn Plus. You can also find the clips on Ethan Hahn Productions on Instagram. I'm a social media fiend. So go ahead and check me out all there. If you want to get to know me, just go ahead and DM me there. Give me a comment. Come on over to my house. I'm not going to give you my address. I'm just kidding. Don't come to my house. But Yeah, guys, that's been the episode for you. All right, everyone. Well, thanks again for watching. And always remember, this has been Ethan Hahn plus
Josh Hutton.
Now we do some fake talking like you do in the talk shows. Oh, actual size. And we're good. There's the credits for you. Well done.